on your
Yeah.
microphone. What are you doing?
Can I do anything right? I can't. I don't think we should do it today.
Listen, my nose is running and my feet are bleeding. So there are blisters on my foot. And I was walking in front of somebody yesterday and they said, "Oh my God." I
You
said,
need to
"What?"
learn by now.
I don't learn a lesson.
Yeah.
I
Welcome to the
don't.
Mental Funny Bone.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
Sarah.
I'm Christine. We don't know what we're talking about. We should give you more resources so that you can talk to a licensed medical professional when it comes to your mental health.
Do we have an outline today, or we're just going for it?
I think we generally know what we talk about. We can talk a little bit about some fan mail if you want to start there.
Yeah, let's do that. Do we
What
have fan mail? I have.
what day is today? I have not looked at the email.
Yeah, this is going to be a good episode. It's going to be a good one.
I didn't feel good for a lot of the time since we last spoke.
I know. That's why I offered to do it by myself so you could take a break. I
Can't
mean,
I can't let that happen. What if the people like you more?
I know. I feel like that's something we should probably talk about. And what's funny is I literally thought of that yesterday. I was like, she'll never let me do it by myself.
You could do the next one by yourself.
I don't need to. I'm just saying that's what I thought about.
My sister thinks so little of me that she will never let me do this by myself.
Yeah. We have no new fan mail. I can say that I spoke with my friends Ryan and Shauna this weekend, and they listen regularly. I believe Shauna listens a little more dedicatedly than Ryan does. Ryan said he's a few episodes behind, but still, he said, one of these days, I swear I'm going to email you guys.
One of these days. I think it's the same story for everybody. Where's Christy? So I got these text messages yesterday while I was sitting in a conference. So listened to the pod, loved it. You kept me moving on my walk. I also remember playing you Elizabeth Forward in soccer. You girls played soccer slash football, by which I was confused yesterday, and I thought maybe she thought we were British.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I think
No.
what she means is we were fairly aggressive in our play.
She meant rugby.
Right. And I got it. Christy, I got you now, 24 hours later. She said, also, who was your therapist? Also, love, capital LOVE, listening. It makes me miss you.
Aw.
And I said, this is the collection of messages that I needed today. I'm at a conference and I've been talking a bunch of bullshit all day. I told her my therapist and I told her to come to homecoming so that way she wouldn't have to miss me. She could just hang out with me.
There you go. Fantastic.
I can't wait to listen to this episode and realize that I do that the whole time.
Sniffles. Sniffleupagus.
So there's our fan mail.
Yeah.
And like I say, I was also talking to people at this conference, and the one guy was like, "It's so weird to talk to you because I was just listening to you talk this morning." And I was like, "I don't know what to do with that." My therapist also asked me how I was at taking compliments. And I said, "Why don't you tell me that you like something about me and you can watch how gracefully I take a compliment?"
There you go.
No, I don't take a compliment. I'm done doing it. I'm done sniffling. I promise. What's next? Oh, weekly catch up. We have so much weekly catch up though.
Okay. You know what today is?
The
Today is
10th.
September 10th, which
Yeah,
is the first semi-annual March 4th day.
it is March 4th day.
Yeah. So I'm wearing my shirt, and anyone else who has a March 4th shirt should wear it today, unless you're at a conference and you can't wear a t-shirt. But Jackie and Ed have also requested some random acts of kindness of us. I don't leave my house, so I'm not really sure. I have a soccer game to go to, but again, I don't sit by anybody at the soccer games. I feel like that is an act of kindness in and of itself.
Just also for those people who are my friends on Facebook, one of our other friends, Michelle Kapotz, has a fundraiser going on right now for the American Foundation for the Suicide Prevention.
AFSP, I got it now, sister. I got
Right,
it.
right. We're good at it
Hey,
now.
I
We're
have a
good at it.
fundraiser going on right now for AFSP for the walk. That's open till December 31st,
Everybody. So if you're looking for a act of kindness that you can do without talking to anybody,
which is my kind of act of kindness. I'm the
that
worst.
That might be an option. Also, there's a little stain on the hotel desk here, and I was like, do you think that's blood?
But
So maybe I should stop listening to true crime while I try to go to sleep.
I had to finish a book last night and it was like a murder mystery thing. And yeah, so therefore I didn't go to sleep until midnight 30 because I had to finish it because I was freaked out and I needed to make sure everybody was okay in the end.
Right.
And that my favorite people didn't die. So
I want to say that's crazy, but it's not. This is how I ended up staying up finishing the Stephen King book. Because if the bad guy died at the end, then obviously he wasn't around to hurt me.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And there were two bad guys and they both died in the end. So I was able to go to sleep. Not before, no, I went to sleep and then Macho decided he wanted to wake up at 1 a.m. for some unknown reason. This dog has not woken up in the night to go out to the bathroom in probably a year.
He was like, hey guys,
Yeah. He was like, hey, he jumped down off the bed and I put him back up on the bed and he jumped down off the bed again. And I was like, oh, I guess you got to do something. He had to pee and poop.
did he
I
ding
guess he
his
knows.
doorbell?
I didn't let him get that far. I didn't think that Noah would appreciate that.
I mean,
Whatever. All right. You said we had a lot to talk about for weekly catch up.
we do. So we talked to a lot of people last week. Not a lot of people. We had a very busy Thursday last week, is what I think. We talked to new interview people. We're getting more bare bones banter. I know it's been a heartbeat since we did that last episode with Jackie and Ed, but I couldn't be more excited about the people we're talking to. So I'm not going to say who it is or what it is, but more things are happening. I also realized I get to fly on 9/11, so that's fun.
I actually just almost passed out after you said that.
I feel like I have done it maybe 5 times out of the, what, 20, 30, how long has it been? 23 years?
2023.
That one should be easy to count. It's not like it was in the 90s.
Yeah, but you know why I knew that right off the bat is because Joe and Lissa's 23rd anniversary was just yesterday or the day before or something like that. And that's what sadly I associate with it
Really? Why?
because it was days before.
Oh,
Yeah.
I,
I had a
I
great time at the wedding. I love that wedding and I would like to redo that wedding. Like there's lots of it's hard for me not to have a good time at a wedding, but that was one that I had a really good time at. So it didn't ruin the wedding itself. It's just I know it's like right after Joe and Lissa's anniversary.
I'll be
Yeah,
darned.
and she posted on Facebook happy 23rd anniversary and I was like, "Huh. Yeah, yeah, it is 2024."
That's funny because I don't associate the two at all, and I definitely would have flown for that wedding. Interesting.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you were home before it happened, so you flew probably right before it. But
yeah,
I'm
and I had to
guessing
get
that
back.
Sunday. So yeah,
Yeah, I
I can't.
would have.
I want to say it was the 7th. I want to say their wedding was on the 7th. So you would have flown back on the 8th.
That's crazy. I guess I was on an airplane all the time then.
Yeah, and you flew right after it anyway because I've
Oh,
saw you
yeah,
in DC.
that was a debacle.
Yeah, there's lots of September 11th stories.
That was the first time I learned that if you don't take the first part of the flight, then they cancel the second part of the flight.
Oh,
I don't know if that's common knowledge, but I had to fly back to, I flew to DC, but I already had plans to go to Bethany Homecoming, which is
yeah,
like the next week.
yeah.
So I fly to DC like one way, thinking that, oh, I already have the ticket back. But then I show up at the airport like the following Sunday after homecoming to go back to Arizona, and they were like, oh no, we canceled that. I was like, but why
Yeah, I'm
would
confused why. Explain to me why. So you flew to
they,
DC.
right, on a different ticket. So I already had a ticket that was to get to homecoming like Thursday, and we were flying to DC on the Thursday before.
Oh, so you just didn't get on the normal flight to get there,
Right.
and
So,
you wanted to just hop on the plane back, but
right,
it was a round trip ticket.
right.
So when you don't do the first part of the round,
They don't know that
they
you're there.
cancel the second part of the round. I feel like that actually makes sense.
It does once you put two and two together, once you get through that part. But I
Yeah,
mean,
and
I was
especially at that time, you're flying, and like everything was a clusterfuck.
right. There was no TSA pre-check or there was no TSA. I don't
Yeah, there
think
wasn't, it
they
was
were just
no.
letting you, they were like looking at you as you walked on the
Yeah.
plane to
Like,
make sure you weren't carrying anything.
yeah, do
Like
you
you could
look
walk,
odd?
like going
Yeah.
through, like everyone could go through security. You didn't even need a ticket.
No, mommy and daddy used to walk me all the way to the gate.
Right. Sometimes Nita would have a knife in her purse.
Yeah, she's wild.
That's for my apples.
Not once has that ever happened.
It did. You don't remember?
No.
She had a knife, like a little paring knife in her purse
When she was flying?
when she was like going to get you or get me or something. She got to the gate. She's all flustered.
No, I have
They took my
zero.
knife.
The fuck? What the?
I
What?
swear.
I do
It
not
really had
remember this in any way whatsoever. But more, who the fuck is carrying a knife for their apples? How many apples have you seen our mother eat?
zero. She doesn't eat food.
No.
She's a
I
baby
don't,
bird.
now lives on vapes and coffee. Used to
She's
be
a
cigarettes and coffee.
she's a tiny mouse.
She's a little tiny mouse. Yeah, no. That's for my apples. I hope you made that part up.
I did not. She wanted to explain herself to the pre TSA guy.
The TSA guy, weird. I would like to point out that sometimes I do remember things better than you do.
Yes, like that we had a bird.
That we had a bird and why they called Daddy Willie at work.
Oh, I swear that he told me that. I don't
I think
know.
you make up more things than you think that you do. I love it.
I
I legit
I
make shit up.
I don't know what's real and what's not anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't. I was fully expecting him to respond to my text and go with your story. And when he did, I was like, wow, whew, okay. At least I know
Right.
that. Okay. Yeah.
I
But
don't
there
know
are,
much.
since we started this podcast, every time I tell a story now, I'm like, I'm not sure if I made this up or not, but I've been telling it for years. So I will just continue.
Right, same. Honestly, I don't know what's real and what isn't anymore.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's really difficult.
I am 100%
Um,
distracted by this blood stain on my desk. Did
I'm
someone hit their head?
sorry.
I feel like someone hit their head. There was a crime in here.
It's a possibility. What you need to do right now is not believe everything you think.
Guess who
Yeah.
didn't read the book?
I read, let me see. Because listen, I read 31 pages.
I feel like close enough.
And it says all the same shit that I've read in the other books that we've read thus far, which isn't
Oh,
putting it
good.
down. I need to get to the end part where it tells me what to do. And I know that probably doesn't exist. But yeah, but it's about thoughts and thinking and the difference between the two. And it is very interesting. But that's not, I didn't want to lead into that. I wanted to let everyone know that we had dinner with Jackie and Ed.
Yeah, that was fun.
We got our March 4th t-shirts. You got all of us sick. You didn't. I was
I
blatantly
feel
made up.
a bit bad because I'm always like, oh no, yeah, you can totally drink out of my straw. I don't have the cooties, but I did. I had the cooties.
Yeah, you did. It's like me being on Girls Week and being like, my herpes aren't active, and then coming home and getting a huge herpy.
A huge herpy. Yeah, so sorry, Jackie and Ed. I did not mean to snot all over your
Yeah, I
food.
believe. I mean, unless they're sick now, they weren't sick when I saw them on Saturday. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good dinner. I got a huge order of nachos and ate 3 of them, which
Giant.
is really disappointing because they were really good. Although I had a tiny little bellyache the next day. So
It could have been the
maybe,
margaritas.
yeah. And that's what I was telling them on Saturday. I was like, I think that margarita was poisoned.
I think it was rotten. The taste of it after, I was like, wait,
Yeah.
that is just rotten margarita mix. Margarita
Yeah.
mix that's been in the fridge too long, which I don't understand at a Mexican place how it can be in the fridge too long. Do you
Well,
just leave them in the back?
they have the kegs of the margaritas there.
Again, are you
Like,
just leaving that keg in the back?
yeah, that was an old one. No one felt like really moving. I
Ugh.
really wish I should have walked around to see who else had the terrible margarita, just to see how many people. Like, I hope that they took that thing off the tap. Like after
Like
they served me 17 rotten margarita.
pretending it's just me.
Listen, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Look at it. We all know it's bad. And then I
Right,
continued to taste all of them. And I feel like
right.
that's
I'm
probably
like,
what
no.
poisoned me. Then by the time we got to the regular, like normally made, bartender made margarita,
It was a big
um,
deal. First, what? Here's
it
a
was,
bartender made margarita.
Yeah, and by then, my belly had hurt and I couldn't even really enjoy it. And then Ed told me that they spit in it. So,
He would know.
he would. He sure would.
They're so funny.
So you were sick all weekend
I was sick all weekend. I literally woke up Friday and I had a fever.
and
Yeah.
you went out to the local businesses and spread it around.
I had to get my toes done.
I'm with you.
You can't, do you know how long it takes to get a waxing appointment?
Yeah, you make it when you just make that shit as soon as you leave, man.
You can't cancel it.
No.
And I had a
Where do you
therapy
go get
appointment.
waxed? Do you go get like waxed at a regular like local place? Like I go to European Wax Center.
I go to the waxing the city, but I like the one
Waxing
lady.
the city. Ooh. So do you have a monthly membership there? Because I have a monthly. Oh,
You
not a
don't
monthly thing. It's not a monthly thing. It's a like they charge me 4 times for the specific waxing treatments that I want, and then it's good for a year.
know that I don't, I just pay as I go. Pay as I go.
I was just wondering. I like waxing the city. I like that name though.
It's fun. And I like the one lady because she doesn't hurt me as bad as the other ones do. I thought that if I kept going, now I'm burping. I thought if I kept going that it
Mhm.
would hurt less, and it just doesn't seem to hurt any less.
Really? Are you
I mean,
getting
maybe
your? I mean, you can cut this out if you're not comfortable with it. Are you doing your bikini or you're just doing your face?
the whole bikini,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Yeah, I
whole
feel like
like,
that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt no matter what. Like the face, I don't know. I feel like you just get used to it.
yeah, the face, like I could literally sit here and pick individual hairs off of my
Yeah,
entire face. That's not going to hurt me anymore. Like I've got a callus on that one, but the hoo-ha is,
yeah.
I'm sweating
It's
thinking about
rough.
it.
Yeah, it's rough. I feel like that eventually just, I don't know. I guess the second time you go in, you know what you're in for. And
And it
you
makes,
just,
I am also afraid that I'm going to hurt this poor girl because when she does, like it just involuntarily, my knee wants to come up and smack her on the side of the head.
yeah.
But I had to do
Um,
that, so I snotted on her for sure. The therapist is guaranteed going to get sick because I sat across from her and talked for an
oh,
hour,
yeah. You were spitting all over her for
right?
sure, for
She said,
sure.
tell me about how you grew up." And I was like, "I don't know. Great. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. So you had a good therapy session then? You just sat there and kept saying it's fine?
It's fine." Well, I mean, I talked and it's just therapy is weird. I don't think I appreciated how bizarre therapy is. Like you just go there and she asks you like two questions and then you just ramble on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think I've stated before, I've gone several times and been like, I should have canceled. Like, I don't really have anything to talk about. And then an hour later, she was like, listen, I got to kick you out. I have another appointment. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
What? No.
Right.
Right.
But I say that, but it's also hard because I'm with you. And sometimes I leave and I'm like, did I do that right? Should I have
Right.
talked about something else? And then I overthink it. Like I do everything.
Exactly. And then right before I left, she was like, "Did we talk about everything you wanted to talk about?" And I'm like, "I don't think so, because we should talk about how I feel about losing weight." And
Yeah,
I
you need to talk about your diet.
like, at this point, I think that and she was like, "I definitely want to hear more about that. Give me the cliff notes. We have 3 minutes." And I was like, "I lost a ton of weight, very much like losing the weight, very much like being a skinnier person, very much like being healthier. But now I am terrified that I will put that weight back on."
Yeah, terrified to the point where you're going to get to, here's me analyzing you,
Right.
terrified to the point that you're going to get to an eating disorder,
This is exactly what I
which,
said.
yeah, because you're already too skinny
She said, "Are
and,
you eating?" I said,
and you're
"Yes."
not. You're
No,
diet.
I
I
ate the
asked you the other day
tacos.
what you had to eat, and you said a
I ate
cup
those
of coffee.
tacos. That was at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I then ate two tacos. I ate tacos.
Yeah, and so you ate a cup of coffee. You ate a cup of coffee and 2 tacos.
I feel like that's 1,000 calories.
That's not nearly enough food in your little tiny little belly. You need to get some protein shakes. You need to get some protein bar. You need more protein because you're losing all your muscle. And I appreciate this because I need to put on some muscle myself with the weight loss. But the thing that we like about it is that we lost weight and we're feeling healthier, right?
Right.
But
I
you're
mean,
going to not be healthy. if you don't eat shit,
Right.
like healthy
Also,
shit.
my point. I was like, yeah, I like being healthier, but I also like that I can see my collarbones.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm vain.
I think
And
that's got to be,
she was like, yes. I would need to make sure that you're safe. So are you eating? And I'm like, yeah, I eat enough, not die. This is the first thing we're talking about when you come back.
yeah, I was going to say, I feel like that's what you need to unpack first. I think that you need a few therapy sessions about food.
We'll see you in a week.
I did see a picture from my Facebook memories.
Is it the one where we're at the 50th anniversary soccer thing? And my
Yeah,
arm looks like a ham. This is
it's,
why. This is why. Like,
but the good news is you have control over that. So you just have to work with your therapist to make sure to figure out what you need to do to eat enough food and be a nutritious, healthy individual. Because, yeah, if you don't, you're going to go down a bad path that's not easy to come back from. So that's what you
right.
need to remember. So you can go down the path where you're large and in charge. You can go down a path where we need to have you committed because you're going to kill yourself and
Karen Carpenter.
you won't be able to walk on your skinny little bird legs. Or you can go down the path that's just in the middle and we're always trying to be a little bit better and eat a little bit healthier. So I think that's the path that we should go down. I started doing a shake in the morning.
I feel like I have coffee with cream in it,
Yeah, and
just
that's
like a
not,
shake. There's
I don't
protein
want
in
to,
that.
I'm not going to joke about it anymore because I don't think it's funny and I'm
Fine.
concerned. You should probably have a protein shake. At
I
least
am
start with that.
I'm going to breakfast. Breakfast is at 8:15.
What are
It's
you going to eat
free.
at breakfast?
Bacon.
Like a half a piece.
No, like a whole piece. I had 3 pieces of bacon and some avocado yesterday.
Oh, that
I'm
sounds
eating.
delicious.
Meg was like, I
But
don't like
you,
this avocado, so I ate her avocado and her bacon.
so that's good. When somebody else is cooking, you can go ahead and grab food, but you need to do that when you're at home too.
Yeah. And I'll have lunch. I had lunch yesterday.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's
When you're at
scheduled
work things,
activities.
you eat because
Everybody
even
else
if
is
it's
eating.
even it's just like a little nibble, you're still eating much more than I don't eat a ton, but like I have a protein shake in the morning, then I have the lean cuisine protein meal at lunch, and then for dinner, I'll have whatever Owen makes.
Whatever Owen cooks, because he's
Some
15.
chicken breast. I don't know. Sometimes I just throw some pasta together and have some broccoli. I don't know. But I'm trying because I wasn't eating at all and I was losing a lot of muscle and I wasn't feeling as good as I wanted to. But I feel even better now that I get the proteins. So there you have it.
It also might be why I was sick, because I just no energy in the body to fight the cold.
Yeah.
Not a fantastic place. No, I understand. And this is why I brought it up to the therapist so she can make me talk about it and
Yeah.
work through what's going on there. Because I think you and I spent what, like 45 minutes one day talking about it. And I was like, I am not,
Excuse me.
bless you, I am not doing that great with this. I feel guilty for losing the weight. I feel guilty for being fat in the first place. I feel like ashamed.
You have all sorts of feels about the weight thing to
A
be
lot.
discussed with a professional.
Right.
And
Because
that's,
this
I don't
is,
feel like that's going to be just a one time session. That's
no,
going to be a few
that's,
sessions. You're going to need to unpack that, sort it out, put it in some drawers, separate it.
like, take it out of the boxes. Don't put it back.
Yeah.
Put it someplace I can
No,
see over
no.
there.
I decided I don't want to do boxes anymore. I'm going to do those big Ziploc bags that you suck the air out of. I think that's
Oh,
a better
yeah.
place to put all of my
Space
trauma.
bag. No, I mean, you could fit so much more of it in your closet that way.
Right. It's great. It's going to suck the air out of all that trauma. That's good. I feel like that's a great way to deal
Wow,
with
it
shit.
really compresses when you
Yeah,
put
fits so much in there. Did you see how big that?
these
Wow, that's
trauma
amazing.
pillows really shrink down.
Yowzer.
My God, we're so entertaining.
So I would like to mention the Out of the Dark walk. Is that what it's called? Out
Out
of
of
the
the
Darkness?
darkness?
Yeah, Out
Yes.
of the Darkness
Let's talk
walk.
about that. I couldn't go.
You were sick, so nobody wanted you there snotting on everyone.
I
It's fine. It's okay. Noah went with me, which I thought was actually a big deal because my husband, to those of you that don't know him, is not really a mental health kind of guy. I don't know if that Does that make sense? I guess we all have some sort of mental health going on, but he's not really like a therapist, medication. He's not someone I go to when I'm in a funk because he's typically the just feel better.
It's stop being sad.
Think about something else. So he's the guy that we talk about when we talk about people not knowing how to deal with individuals that suffer from mental illness. And he typically just avoids it. So for him to go with me was a big deal. And I think it was a great thing because I think it was pretty eye opening for him. And of course, it was wonderful. I got to meet Veda and Morgan. So that was pretty awesome. They're both adorable and just adorable. This adorable, like just cute, just adorable. And Morgan's boyfriend, I forget his name. I think it's Liam, maybe. And he's adorable and just he smiles a lot. He was just
I love it.
smiling. Yeah. But
Kid after my own heart.
just smiling and hanging out and being there. But yeah, it was a pretty emotional day for all things that were going on. I don't even really know what to say about it. It was emotional for me, so I can't imagine what it was like for them.
To be doing something sad about why you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot of emotion, raw emotion there. And then listening to there was a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of speaking, but but it was all like very informative stuff and good stuff to hear. And just knowing that amount of people was in one place and they're all there because they've been affected by this terrible thing. And that's a lot to take in.
I mean, I had that same thought when you sent me the pictures. I'm like, that's a lot of people. That's a
Hmm.
lot of people.
Yeah, there was a lot of people there. And the majority, I'm going to take a guess, the majority are there because their loved ones have died from suicide. A lot of the shirts had specific people that they were there for. And that's shitty. That sucks. And that's heart hurting. But I was very glad to be there. I was very appreciative that we were allowed, that Ed and Jackie didn't mind us jumping on their train and
Yeah,
walking with them. So that was nice. And I don't know, anybody who knows Jackie and Ed, it's just always a joy to be around them, even if it is in a sad situation. They somehow make it okay, which is ridiculous because they're like, you should be making it okay for them.
right. That is the constant thing that surprises me. That is the thing that surprises me the most about hanging out with Jackie and Ed. They just
Yeah,
make you feel good. And
right. And
God bless you
we
guys.
we should be doing something more to make them feel good. And it's,
They
yeah.
got it covered.
And that goes back to the like being mad about shit. Now I'm going to cry. And I don't know why. But it just sucks. It sucks that fucking bad shit happens to good people. And it just
Right.
blows.
Now you're gonna make me cry because okay, but have you looked on Facebook today?
I have not. No, I
Have
tried
you
it.
seen the picture that I posted of your niece? Because this will
No.
pull you out of it. If you need me to
Okay.
pull it up and share screens, I can. But
I'm going to look at it right now.
so
Oh,
I
the
was
first thing that came up is March 4th.
March
And
4th day.
yeah, and Jackie posted with everybody wearing their March 4th shirts.
Maybe
Is
you don't
it
get
this
my posts
one?
anymore.
I will never take it for granted that Liv is who she
Yeah,
is and that she is exactly the daughter I needed. Also, this picture is the best representation of her whole personality, and I couldn't love it more. Her face is absolutely pretty. Oh my.
so, since it's a visual thing, Olivia is looking at the referee. It's a picture of her playing soccer, and she's looking at the referee like, A, she might kill him, and B, like he has said probably the most offensive thing that he could ever say to her. And probably what he has said is, try not to punch that girl in the face anymore.
I was just going to say, I can show you this conversation. He blew the whistle, and she was like, referee. And he said, listen,
Sir,
girl, listen.
sir,
And that's when she said, sir, are you super?
right.
What?
And
Me? What? And he
I,
said, you blatantly shoulder tackled that girl. We are playing soccer, not rugby. And she's looking at him like, no clue what you're talking about. Stop pulling hair, he says. Yeah, there's so many things. But
I
yeah, I feel
mean,
like this one needs to be blown up.
yeah, her elementary school principal was like, that is a back tattoo if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So no more crying. We're thinking about Olivia accosting a referee.
I love it. Love. I so I just did the little. reaction thing. I reacted to it and I loved
Oh, thank
it.
you. I get it.
Speaking of, in my memories yesterday or one of these days recently, I believe I'm going to guess it was 2000. And the statement I made was during political season, I wish that there was a reaction that says, wow, you're a real fucking asshole. I think not too long after that is when I quit Facebook for a little bit.
Years.
Ah, yeah, yeah. I was like, whoa, wow, that's still
Wow.
pretty accurate.
I need a different Facebook button.
Yeah, I feel like you should be able to create your own sometimes. Just
Like,
double middle
wow.
fingers.
Just one that says wow, not in a good way.
That's interesting. That is an interesting thought you have right there.
So I was talking to a client yesterday from the Midwest, and we were discussing something, and she wanted to say, I don't think that what you're saying is accurate. I don't think that's right. And what she said was, that's interesting. Can you just tell me a little bit more about that? And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's
Wow.
Midwest for bless your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yep.
was like, all right.
Yeah, I'm bad at there are a couple things that we've Noah and I have talked about. One, Owen had a deck hockey game on Sunday, and Noah and I switch, like depending on what side they're shooting at. And in the beginning, one of our guys slammed a kid, like he got a penalty. It is what it's fucking hockey, first of
Right.
all. He got a penalty. And when the whistle was blown, these three Neanderthal dads who were down by where the penalty was said to our kid, who's a teenager, that's it, son. You go sit down. You take that penalty. That's what you get. You think about what you did, son.
Does he,
I said,
what? Why are you
Excuse me?
talking to a child that isn't
Exactly.
yours?
I said, excuse me? Are you kidding? And Noah looked at me and I was like, what? He's a 16-year-old. He's playing a sport that they do normally bounce people into the boards. He just did it probably a little more aggressively than he should have. Yeah, he got the penalty. He has a coach and a parent that will take care of him. Thank you.
Like,
Then, when their kids do, this is what really irks me because their kids do the same shit and they get called and they're like, yeah, that's it. Good hustle. This is what
I
makes me
mean,
hate parents. And this is what makes me have to not be around them during games because just talking about it is making my heart rate go up because I can't stand what we're teaching our kids. I can't stand that we're teaching them that we should bitch if everything doesn't go my way. Like
I mean,
just mass hypocrisy all over the place.
I talked to a sports parent yesterday, one day while we were hanging around here, and it, I was like, "So how's soccer going? I know both your boys play." We had to pull him out of the travel league. Like I just can't. He's like, more important than them being good at sports is them growing up to be decent, functional human beings, and I
Right.
can't have them around that bullshit.
Fucking terrible.
He was like, we'll go do club soccer, we'll go do like other, but I can't have him in this league because I had to ask a dad what he was doing. Like
Yeah.
the and his kids are little. They're like 10 or 11, like just at the point where
Unreal.
they would play, where they would try out for things. And the dad was yelling, screaming at a 14-year-old referee.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, why are
People are
you?
out of their fucking minds. And it's just, this came up because I was going to address my inability to keep my mouth shut because this is why, like, I have to, yeah, I don't want to hear other parents. That's one of the reasons I sit by myself. I talk the whole time, so I don't want to annoy other parents. But ultimately, I have to sit by myself so I don't get in a fight because I have no ability to just keep my mouth shut. Like Noah looked at me and was like, Sarah. I was like, and he was like, all right, let's move. So we had to move and stay down the other end. We couldn't go back and forth because I couldn't be close to them because I was going to punch one of these big ass burly piece of shit dads who thought it was appropriate to basically heckle a child.
I
So,
This was always my thing. I'm like, is that your kid? No, it's not your
right.
kid, so shut up.
Exactly.
Just shut
Exactly.
up. Let
And
that
that's
kid
exactly
play.
what I mean. Like that kid has a coach and that kid has a parent. You worry about your own fucking kid. Like I told that guy at that tournament where Liv pulled his daughter's hair. You worry about yours. She's got him, mom. Back the fuck up. Quit following a teenager around the fucking parking lot, you dickwad. And then he says, I think we'd be friends. No.
No, we
And
wouldn't.
and that
I
was
can guarantee
right
you
after
we
he called
wouldn't.
me bra.
Bruh.
No, I'm not your bra.
No, sir. I'm very sorry that my child's not fully developed frontal cortex led her to
Yeah.
grab your kid by the back of the head and punch her in the face. I'm
Yeah. I'm
very sorry that happened.
not really sure what your excuse is for driving around the parking lot looking for said 15-year-old, but okay.
She's very
All right.
sorry.
So my next thought was how I lack the ability to, what's the word? Like when somebody annoys me, instead of just keeping it in, okay, let's say we're talking about me and Noah. Noah
Let's
does
say.
something. Noah does something that drives me nuts. Instead of just keeping that in and walking away from it, I need to be more. We need to talk about it. I need to be able to say to him, what you just said is fucking stupid, but without saying it like that. And I don't have the ability to do that.
I am not going to be the one who's going to be able to help you here, other
Yeah.
than just being completely silent. That's how I deal. I just don't say anything ever.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's what we need to communicate better. And one of those steps of communicating is not just walking away because all those little irritations compound
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then
I
and
feel it.
it's not good. So that's one thing that we need to do. And I even said it. I was like, this is going to be really hard for me because I'm just going to want to look at you and tell you what a fucking idiot you are. And
I mean, it is a
I'm gonna,
style.
I feel like it's harsh. And I'm not sure. See, but here's the big problem is that whatever I say, however I say it, he is going to argue back with me, which is why I don't say anything. So relationships are hard.
Do you remember? You probably don't. On The Office, Jim and Pam had to go to counseling and they were only allowed to use I feel statements. It was always like, I feel like you're being an asshole.
Exactly. I feel like you are the biggest dick I have come in contact with for the last 5 days.
Right. Like, maybe you just
Yeah.
take that strategy. It softens it a little.
Yeah, it's
And then
because
those kids made it, Jim and Pam. They were together at the end of the show.
I just, I am a harsh individual and I like to think that I'm a nice person. And I guess I am to most people. But when it comes to the people I love, I guess it just comes out a little different. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to move us along because I want to know, as far as a growing up gastro story, do you remember the Amish friendship bread?
Oh my God. I do remember that. What in the world?
That's the recipe.
Didn't somebody have to give you some mush from an old?
Yeah, it takes 10 days, dude. It is not a simple task, which is why it's been sitting here on my computer for a very long time, but I really want to do it. So it's one of these where you need, let me just read this to you.
Oh
So
my God.
here's your baking schedule. Day one, do nothing. What?
What? Great. So let's go to day two. I'm
I'm
already.
so confused. Oh, so that means after you put, okay, so you have to prepare. I don't,
Because
so
you
you,
need the
oh,
goo. There's
you
like a
pour,
goo.
okay, so you pour all the shit together into a bag.
You make the goo.
First few notes. Okay, so you pour shit into a bag, but where does it tell you what you pour into a bag? Where
The
does it?
goo that
Oh,
already gave
okay.
you.
I was starting on the wrong side. I was on the wrong side. Okay. So to prepare a new batch, you put like some water, some yeast, some flour, and some sugar and some milk, and you put it into a Ziploc bag. Here's the schedule. Day
Okay.
one, do nothing. This is the date that you receive the bag of starter. That's the starter that you
The
put all
goo.
that shit, the goo. Squish and mush the bag.
Okay, good. I'm
Day two,
into that.
squish and mush the bag.
Okay.
Day three, squish and mush the bag. Can you guess what day four is?
Do you squish and mush the bag?
You bet. Day five, squish and mush the bag.
Is
Day six is big though. You add to the bag 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of milk, squish and mush. Squish and mush for day seven, squish and mush for day eight, squish and mush for nine. On day 10, you bake it. The good
do you
news
just
is that one bag puts, like, you separate that into four and you
and
put
then you
one in
give
to
one
bake
away?
it. And then the other one you give away. That's the starter, I believe.
That's the
Mixing
goo.
and dividing the starter on day 10. Pour entire contents of starter bag into non-metal, and there's like rules. Don't use metal shit. Don't refrigerate the starter. If the air gets in the bag, you got to let it out. It's farting.
Gotta let it out. Just like
But yeah,
to mental health as well. If there's something inside, you gotta let it out. Blossoming eating disorder.
yeah, you got to get it out. This will help with your eating disorder. You can get some Amish friendship bread. There's a shit ton of sugar in it.
It's
But that's
funny.
what I remember from it. It was so good because it had the sugar crust on the top of it. Do you
It
remember?
did, yeah. And you would slice it and you would put it in the toaster, and like the ragged edges would catch on fire.
Ooh, yeah. It was
So,
go
so
so
good.
delicious.
Yes,
So
I do
delicious.
recall your father. This might have been, I might have this wrong, so hopefully Nita will listen and tell me. This might have been right around the time that the Irvin Works was paying for them to go to outside classes, and your dad took a class on meat cutting because he could then bring home a shit ton of meat for free. Like
Yeah.
they had been laid off or something, and they were like, while you're laid off, we'll pay for you to go to class.
Yeah.
And we're
I don't
like,
know if that's around the same time, but that definitely happened. I that he went to the local, was it at the technical school that they taught the meat cutting? I feel like he went
that
to a bunch of classes at Still Valley for something.
maybe,
Um
or
one
CCAC.
time
I
when he
can't
was,
remember which
yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah, CCAC they sent them to as well. Or maybe it was just CCAC. Anyway, they did some cool shit when they got laid off. It would be nicer to have a job and be making
Right?
like the normal amount of money that you're supposed to make, or
Do you,
any money.
do you remember like where at one point I was old enough to understand the difference between being on strike and being locked out? If you were locked out, if there was a lockout and not a strike, then you got paid unemployment. And that was
Oh.
big. That was
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
We were very excited if it was a lockout because
Yes.
our
If it was a
lifestyle
lockout.
didn't change as much.
Right.
We didn't have to dig through the couch cushions to find $1.50 to go ice skating or whatever
Yeah.
he needed. I'm like,
Mhm.
I have 45 in quarters that I can use while we're on strike.
We legit had food stamps. We legit had
We
food stamps at
when
points
that
throughout.
when that shit happened, it was bad. It was,
What's amazing about it is that, like, I look back and think about it being bad, but I don't really remember actively. Like, I
I
feel like
mean,
mommy and daddy did such a good job at trying to guard us from that, shield us from
like,
that. Or maybe I was just too little, but I feel like I knew we had food stamps, obviously, because I remember that. I remember it not being awesome, but I don't
yeah,
feel
I
like
mean,
we suffer. I don't know.
we didn't really want for anything.
Oh,
Like we were pretty simple creatures. Like we probably ate a lot more gruel than we would
yeah,
in in the best of times, but
which F off. I'll eat gruel every day. That shit's
right?
phenomenal. That was like a delicacy.
So
I mean, mommy,
delicious.
mommy knew how to sell it.
Wow, girls, this
That
stuff is so
shit is delicious. And it
how
cost like point
a dollar.
1 cent per serving.
All right, so gruel is macaroni and cheese in a box, prepared the normal way, with a
I
pound
feel
of
like we've
ground
talked
beef,
about it before. Sorry,
an
go ahead.
onion, and corn. A
Mhm.
can of corn, and all of that mixed together. And it sounds hideous, but it is, if you give it
So
a try.
good. It's so
So
good.
delicious. Like primitive hamburger helper.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, we lived on that shit. I like this was back when we were like I don't even remember daddy going on strike when I was in high school. That's how I guess that's how good they were at getting us through it because still even in high school I wanted shit.
Right.
And I don't know, I was pretty spoiled. I got new Copas or new Puma Kings when I wanted them. That shit
Yeah,
wasn't cheap. And then we did just playing soccer in general was a lot of fucking money.
mean, I honestly can't remember when, but I was definitely like junior high when I remember the last time that he went on strike and we didn't have enough money to do. I remember like lobbying for us to eat at McDonald's one. Like it was a hard sell. Like we were not
Yeah.
just willy-nilly. Like we
Oh
didn't go to
no.
McDonald's as a more convenient way to get
Yeah.
food in our bellies on the way to soccer practice. That
Yeah,
was
no.
going out to eat. Like Applebee's, are you fucking kidding me? What are we, the Rockefellers? We're not going to
Right.
Applebee's.
Hell no. Hell no. One of my favorite memories with Daddy, though, was him taking me to beadling practice. I don't know. Let's say it's Wednesdays. I had beadling practice, and Kogo's had hot dogs for $1 or some shit. So we'd go to practice and stop on the way home and get 8,000 hot dogs, and I'd get a root beer in one of the bottles because I love
Oh, sure,
the
yeah.
beer bottle. Yeah, and that's what Daddy and I did on Wednesdays. We ate hot dogs and drank root beer. But the
Right.
only reason we did is because the hot dogs were like $0.
It was cheap.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what Daddy looked forward to. It's like driving my ass all over the country. But we get to go to Kogo's and eat some wieners.
Can't beat it. We used to go to Century 3 Mall in the late afternoons and evenings because it had air conditioning and we didn't.
Yeah, and we
We
could sit
were
on those
and
turtles.
eat ice cream.
Yeah. If you're not from the Pittsburgh area and you don't know what Century 3 Mall was, it's a sore subject because it's really, I might cry talking
Oh
about it.
man.
It's so sad. It was such a part of our childhood, like every bit of it from the time I was born to the time we left that area. That was my first job, but it was an amazing mall. Were there 3 floors?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it was.
there was a part decorated like old Pittsburgh with cobblestone
Yeah.
floors. That's
Oh
where the
yeah,
Dairy
down
Queen was.
there was a sticker shop down there. I really liked that when I was little. There
Right.
was a cute little sticker shop. I feel like we've talked about this before too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're at episode 24, so we're just going to start repeating the same story.
No, I
But
don't I
Century 3
feel
Mall
like
was the freaking best. It was just,
we've
man,
touched on it, but yeah, what are you going to do on Friday night? Oh, we're going to the mall.
going to the
I think
freaking
Jackie and
mall.
Ed and I were talking about. We were talking
Yeah.
about it when we had dinner.
Yeah.
Jackie walked from the mall over to Wendy's, and she was supposed to walk it, and her mom was at Altmaiers,
Yeah. Or Old
and
Country Buffet was my guess.
one of those, and saw her get out of the car. This is just what you did on Friday and Saturday night. You would just go to the mall and walk around. Like
Yeah. You
a
Century
bunch of
3 or
school
Southland
districts.
9.
Oh God, yeah. I
Yeah, it was
mean,
good. And I
the
worked in Century 3. I used to go sit in the smoking section because that seems normal. Like I was 16 years old and used to just sit in the smoking section of at the mall. Like I wasn't even trying to hide smoking cigarettes. Did I think nobody could see me? Or I guess it was fine because I don't remember anybody
nobody
telling
told your
mommy and
mom.
daddy. But what the fuck was
Yeah.
wow. And the Christmas tree, Christmas time at
Oh,
Century 3. Wow, you can't beat that. And those fucking cookies were so good. The gyros in the corner and the lemonade and
the
corn dogs.
popcorn.
I could go there and get a
Oh,
fucking corn dog any
corn
day I
dog
wanted to. And a good corn dog. A good
on a stick.
fucking corn dog.
And the
Ugh.
lemonade from the corn dog place. You get a
Yeah.
lemonade there, you get fries with cheese and bacon, and then for
Hmm.
dessert, you just grab an orange Julius on your way down to
Yeah.
National Record Mart.
Ugh. The good old
Come
days.
on now.
Victoria's Secret, we'd go in and steal those little things of hand lotion. It's
I never
fucking
did
great.
that.
Yeah,
I didn't do
yeah,
that. I was
that
too
was
shy
my
to go in
only.
Victoria's Secret.
I just went in for the lotion. I obviously wasn't getting my underwears there. And that I still wore underwear then, but I wasn't spending that
National
much on underwear.
National Record Mart and the bookstore. This is
National Record Mart going to pick up the latest single of whatever.
the single, yeah, 18 in life or
Oh my
18
god,
to
that's
life.
exactly what I was gonna say. A little Skid Row,
Percent
and that is the
Aerosmith.
exact song.
Everyone had the single because you're not going to buy
Yeah,
that whole album.
Jesus,
Who can
no.
afford it?
I don't know.
G
Sometimes
Love and
we
Special
would.
Sauce.
Yeah, good times, good times. And then the CDs came out, and that was big shit. Whew.
Now I have to rebuy all of my tapes on CD.
Yeah. Violent Femmes was my first CD.
I can't Erasure might have been mine.
Oh, good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. All
Awesome.
right. Let's talk a little bit about healthy habits.
Okay.
Did you download the Atomic Habits app?
Adams, I did, but that is as far as I got because I suck.
We had a
Um,
busy week last week.
we did have a really busy week. And I was thinking about it, and there it is. I keep meaning to do something with it. Yeah, so I need to do that. I think that I'll do that as soon as we're done here. I will get my first healthy habit.
I mean, I feel like I did pretty good this week. I'm just opening it up so I can see. And it
Okay.
takes me a while to find it. There it is. 5 out of 7. So five
There
out
you
of
go.
7 days, I did my nighttime checklist. And it's hard now because I didn't do it last night because I wasn't home,
I was just
but
going to say, you're not home.
I did it before I left, so I'm just carrying those over. Like the PM
Yeah.
checklist was done when it needed to be done. So I'm giving
Yeah.
myself credit. And now I'm going to add my AM checklist. So now I have an AM checklist of things that I like to do before I get started at work. Make sure the kitties have food and water. I tend to, I don't know, do you guys have a big water bottle where you get your where like a water cooler, like an office water cooler in your house? I don't think you do.
No, we just have a refrigerator where the
Right.
water comes from.
We have special water. So
Yeah.
we have a water cooler. And sometimes I will drain all of the water out of it and then not replace it. A, because it's heavy. B, because the water's all the way out in the garage.
Yeah.
So I have put that on my checklist to make sure that I replace, at least check the water and make sure that I bring in a new water, even if I don't pop it up on
Yeah.
top there. It's a good way to develop the muscles,
Yeah.
get
It's
rid of the
good
ham arms.
exercise.
But that is just one thing that I was like, "Ah, I really need to take care of that. Like, it can't sit there empty, and I can't constantly be looking at it like, oh, I would like water, but I don't have any."
You know what
So,
would be a good thing to add? Especially if we're
what?
talking healthy habits. Your AM habit, you should throw a protein shake on there.
I should.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm gonna wait until the therapist tells me that's a good idea. Not because I don't think it's not a good idea, but because if I wait longer, then I don't have to do it.
Yeah. You're basically just talking yourself out of it and giving yourself an excuse to not do something healthy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll get
As,
there.
as long
I'll
as
get
you're okay
there.
with it, that's fine. Hey,
Here's because
Macho.
here's how bad it is in my brain. I'm like, as soon as I start doing these healthy things, I'm going to gain 10 pounds.
Which you could use. I'm just saying.
You're probably not wrong,
No,
but
I know I'm not wrong.
I need to work through the anxiety around that before I can do it.
You do. You have some anxiety to work through. I get it. I get it.
So I understand. I'm eating. It's not like I'm starving myself to death, but and I do recognize that when I show up for dinner and my clothes are hanging off of me and these are my skinny clothes, that it is time to have a chat with the therapist about how I
Yeah.
feel about that.
Yeah. And you just keep in mind that you're going to start looking gross.
I know, and it will be hard for me to tell that I look gross because I'm just going to be like collarbones.
Yeah. Because you have an eating disorder now.
I don't think that I have if I had an
Okay.
eating disorder, we
You're
wouldn't
on
be
your
talking
way
about
there.
me having an eating disorder.
You're going to be on
Listen,
your way there.
also the name of this episode based on phrases I've heard this week,
Yeah.
we can pick, but it is either going to be
Macho's eye boogers.
trough of disillusionment, because we're talking about adopting new technologies in clinical research at this conference. And there's a point where everyone gets super excited. Like AI. AI is exciting. You like AI. Chad, everyone's super excited about Chad. And then everyone's
Wait,
going to,
wait. At dinner with Jackie and Ed, he was talking about something AI, and Jackie was like, "What's that?" He was like, "Artificial intelligence." He's like,
right,
"I know that."
know that Ed.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So everyone's really high, keen on it. And then they figure out like the problems with it. And then you sink into a trough of disappointment
Yeah,
or disillusionment,
disillusionment.
where disillusionment. I like that. Also, this conversation, where are you? I'm in the event hall standing by the giant blue balls.
I think it should just be giant blue balls.
That's the name of the
I
episode.
feel like
Trough of disappointment, giant blue balls.
disillusionment. I think just giant blue balls. I like the trough of disillusionment. Is that the word?
Yeah.
That sounds like fancy. I feel like that's what you're going to go with because you like to be smart and shit.
No, no,
But I
I'm
feel like giant blue balls is going to pull a better audience.
right. And then I was like, wait, they're not blue, they're teal. These are teal balls. And I went to text that, but the AI changed it from teal balls to real balls.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
by the
Just go
giant
with
blue
blue.
balls. Real
Just go with
balls.
blue balls. Blue balls.
The
No.
the guy that I was talking to was like, "Do we need to have a conversation with HR?" I was like, "I don't know what color your balls are, really."
Yeah, I don't like just standing. They're right here. You could see them. I not. I'm just telling you
And
where
then
I
I was
am.
like, "Don't flick them because that hurts."
Don't touch the blue balls. I bet teal balls hurt more.
I don't know if they're teal, something is very wrong.
I bet if they
All
get
right,
to
I think
purple, they're gonna fall right off.
no, purple's not a color here. That's not part of the color scheme.
Oh, it's not a color. It's not a
Shut up.
color either.
I think you say it wrong.
I probably do. Color. Color.
Color.
Keller.
All right,
She
we're done.
was she was blind, wasn't she? And deaf. Mhm.
Helen Keller.
Yeah.
Annie Solomon was a heck of a teacher. Anyway, I think that is probably how we end on giant blue balls.
Like that's
If
good.
this was a Friends episode, it would be the one with the eating disorder.
The one with the eating disorder and blue balls.
Blue balls.
Blue
Giant blue
balls.
balls. I'll have to take
Hi,
a picture of the
Nacho.
balls and send them to you.
Yeah, I would like that. Thank you.
All right, so next week I will be in West Virginia, and
Take me
then the following week
home,
I'll be
country
back in
roads.
I'll be in North Carolina, and then I'll be back here in Boston, wondering why there's still blood on this desk.
Sounds good.
All right, love you.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, bye.